All right, we are live, and the New York Mets just signed Carlos Correa to a 12-year, $315 million deal in the middle of the night when we had nothing but sugar plums dancing in our head, Pabs.
Are you kidding me? This is
Bro,
unbelievable. I just woke. I thought I was dreaming.
dude, that's it. Literally, real life is better than your dreams. I went to sleep tonight and I had a dream about Carlos Correa being on the Giants, and I wake up in real life and he's on the fucking Mets. That's life as a Mets fan right now. Do you understand what it's like to go from the Wilpons to the Cohens this fast? It's like hyperspeed. Like I don't know how to do this. Like it's like my neck is broken. Just whipped me. It's like the Wizard of Oz. We went from black and white to color, and I don't know how to handle it. I'll be honest. I'm nervous. I'm thinking. I was like, did I die and go to heaven? And then I was like, wait a minute. Maybe I died and I'm in hell. And this is some sick world where we get everybody, but we don't win the World Series. And we even get guys who we don't get. Even the guys that we don't get, we get. It. My mind is. What can you even say? It's like even when you don't get the guy, you somehow magically, when you lose to Grom, you go get Verlander. And when you don't get Correa, you somehow do get Correa. It's like, it's just, you know what? I was going to say it's indescribable and words can't describe it, but you can. And it's only one word, one man, one name, Steve. That's it. Just the only way to describe it, Steve.
Steve motherfucking Kong has come. He is up on the Empire State Building, shaking his bags of money and just picking up whoever he wants. And to go along with that, you also get Nimmo. You get Senga. You get the biggest international guy. You're throwing Carlos Correa as your third baseman. We don't even need him to play shortstop, which is his position that he came up as. It's crazy.
And make no mistake about this. This is not Carlos Correa is not injured. Carlos Correa, his medicals aren't a disaster. This was Carlos Correa having remorse. This was Carlos Correa seeing the party in Queens, watching the press conferences, talking to Lindor, finding out that Steve Cohen was this close. Cohen finds out that he was this close, and Correa finds out that they were that close, and they say, man, what could have been? I could have been with my boy, New York. Hey, Steve, you know what? Do what you do, man. I don't want to be here anymore. I know that I signed, but this is what I pay you the big bucks for. Figure out a way to get me out of here because I want to go to New York. That is honestly, that's why the press conference, the press release from the Giants just said today's press conference has been postponed. Period. Send, because they were like, fuck this guy, fuck him, fuck Boris, fuck his family, fuck the Cohens, fuck the Mets. We don't even want to talk about this because Correa just said, find me a loophole. Oh, look at that. I have, something wrong with my medical, whatever it is. Get me to Queens. And he fucking did it. This is, bro, it's a heist. We're not just signing everybody. We're stealing people from other teams. We're stealing them, Clem. We're taking them away.
It's like, the story about Gardner Minshew where they said he got liquored up and was going to smash his hand with a hammer so then he could get another year of eligibility. Yes. That's Carlos Correa. He's like, listen, Scott Boras, I'm about to smash my hand with a hammer to get out of this Giants deal so I can go play with my buddy Francisco Lindor right now.
I don't know how it could happen, but there's got to be
and we lost
that you can get out of for $500 million, yes, okay, we can get you to Queens, Carlos, but it's going to cost us, Steve Cohen's going to have to pay $500 million, or and he'd be like, yeah, okay, we'll do the emergency clause thing that nobody has ever done. It's motherfucking Christmas come early, man.
And like you said,
right? There's no way that Cohen is going to spend 350 12 years on a broken guy. This is some shady, this is some shit. This is some Bobby Axelrod shit. Oh, we put the order through for like 500,000 shares. Well, actually, we did it with this company instead, and now let's make it 1 million.
What's the point of having fuck you money if you never say fuck you? And that's exactly what he did here. Double birds up, said fuck it.
If you thought that there was Cohen rules and a Cohen tax before this, I'm not kidding. The Mets better get it done because a salary cap's coming. That's the one thing we can say here is that Steve Cohen, maybe the only negative is that he spent so much money. They might have to be like, we cannot allow this to happen anymore because Steve Cohen won't stop. Because Steve Cohen, that quote, Clem, changed the world as we know it. I've been dealing with big numbers for so long. Those numbers don't scare me. This is like when you're dealing with billions, tens of billions, hundreds of millions means nothing. It's literally fantasy baseball to him. They're gonna have to put a hard cap in to stop him. And so we have to win now. We have to win with this team because otherwise they're gonna stop. They're gonna stop.
It's like fucking supervillain shit.
No, there's nothing else to. You can't. You can't, man. You can't even. It's not real life.
Like you said, dude, it's going from the Wilpons to this. It's going from basically, like you said, black and white TV or like listening to the radio to seeing Avatar in 3D and IMAX. It's so different. It is two different planets. I don't know.
But it's not even. It's like going from, that story, the cavemen who only watched the wall with the
hieroglyphics.
Yes, we were the cavemen watching shadows on the wall. And we went to, like, the future. We time traveled to like the year 5000. That's how different it is, and it's inexplainable. It's like you can't, Has there ever been, like the Dodgers have been as decadent as possible, the early 2000s Yankees, but not. This is like never. This is never, right? Especially the way they're doing it, stealing a player that has already signed. And what is so perfect for us Mets fans from the Wilpon era? For so long, I remember out of all of the embarrassing things we've talked about, the infamous Willie Randolph in the dead of night.
Yep.
In the dead of night, firing a guy on like a trip to Anaheim. Well, they let him get on the plane. To me, that was always the most, like, you're not even human, Wilpon. You're so cheap that you degrade other people like that with how cheap you are. And now in the dead of night, we're getting Carlos Correa for $350 million. It's the perfect embodiment of the regime switch, and it is heaven on earth, bro.
As a wise man in Brooklyn once said, went from negative to positive, and that's exactly what the New York Mets have done. I mean,
we're talking about net negatives. Another wise man once said, net negatives, net positives. We're talking about some net positives over here, baby.
Some fucking big time net positives. I mean, dude, we talked about it. We've had a million podcasts about it. We've tweeted about it. I had Steve Cohen as Thanos for like 2 fucking years on Twitter, right? And even despite all that, he just still surprises me.
I know.
Every fucking turn. And even just getting the offer in on Correa when he is, reportedly signed with the Giants, it was like, man, I'm just happy he just cared. And I said this a lot, but I remember back in 2009 when the Yankees went on that shopping spree and they got Sabathia and was that Teixeira? But I remember Teixeira was the last guy because he was basically, everyone thought he was locked with the Red Sox. His wife wanted to live in Boston. And at the last minute, it flipped. And I was like, fuck. That's when I thought the Yankees wrapped up the World Series. I'm not saying the Mets wrapped up the World Series here, but I was like, they were willing to get that extra piece that was kind of like all right, now we have everything sealed up. And I don't want to hear anyone say, are the Mets better than last year's Mets? Carlos Correa is our third baseman now. Enough of that fucking bullshit.
Shut the fuck up, man. Yeah, that's such a good point. Like, it's baseball is so hard, and the Dodgers are the embodiment of that. and the Phillies this year are like the embodiment of it. Like you can be so good and so hot, and it's just a dumb sport. And you know what's crazy is that this still doesn't guarantee a World Series. But in order to do as an owner with play money, this is about as far as you can take it, where it's like, you know, baseball is still going to be a 50-50 sport because it's a round ball and a round bat and all those silly euphemisms. But like Steve Cohen's at least sealing the deal from the owner's box at 100%. And that's something that every fan should be grateful for, because the game itself on the field is 50-50. And then, so if you have a owner that goes 50-50, you're at 25%. And you mostly have owners that go like 10%. So you guys are at like a 0.5%. But Steve Cohen's giving the Mets like a 50% chance to win the World Series because he's spending at 100%. I don't even know if these numbers are making sense. It's 3:45 in the morning, but I'm just, it's like, I remember making fun when you're a desperate broke boy, you see spending as a negative, as a weakness, and as a thing to make fun of. And then when you're on the other side of it, you realize that not only is that just broke boy bitch talking, it's actually the greatest thing in the world that an owner can give to its fan base is the money that it deserves. What we go through as Mets fans is not normal, and it's our own faults, and we don't deserve someone to spend the money that would make us happy, because what we're doing to ourselves is self-inflicted and so fucking crazy that we really don't even deserve it. But we have a guy that still gives it to us, and that's like a parent spending for a child. It's like a person donating to charity. It's like swooping in and saving like sick children, the amount of money that Steve Cohen spends. So I don't ever want to hear, you know, the haters will chirp. We know that. And to that I say, you know, when those guys put up a poll, is Steve Cohen good for baseball? Yeah, the guy who pays the players what they're worth, who pisses off the billionaire fucking owners who everybody unanimously hates, and spends the money that his fan base and to make his fan base happy. Yeah, I'd say that guy is good. I think he's good for the Mets fans and good for baseball. So whenever anybody chirps about spending, whatever, man. That's what we deserve. And if we do, I do of course agree that a World Series that's built from the bottom and the inside is always going to be worth a little bit more. But this is payback for all those bad years. Let's fucking buy one, whiplash, and then we can get the years of continual high level play with a high level farm system. But for right now, it's Pretty Woman, baby. We're whores in the shopping store, in the fucking fancy store with Richard Gere's credit card. Let's fucking go.
And I'll fully admit, there was a part of me that was relieved when Correa was like, I just don't know, man. I was like, if they signed Correa to that huge deal, he's had 2 All-Star games, like not
Right.
All-Star games are the measuring stick, and
I mean, he's not worth 350-12, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But then at the same point, I'm just like, at this point, why does it take out of Ohtani and Soto and all this kind of stuff? Because honestly, nothing else has fucking stopped us in the past. The Verlander deal, the Nimmo deal, all these things. They should have come up with a second Steve Cohen tax. That's what they should have done. They're probably working on it right now. Those pro boys.
They're going to need tiers, and they don't. I don't think they can like put it into place like until there's another CBA. So he's probably like, let me spend all I can until there's another meeting. I would hope that this means that, you know, my acceptable. So what they were at like 78 million in taxes. So this probably puts them at like almost like, you know, I don't know how a percentage of what his contract is, maybe like 90, 95 in the penalty, whatever it is. If Cohen, I just hope that this means Cohen is $1 million payroll, because then that means when the Verlander money and the Scherzer money comes off the books, that means you can give it to the Ohtanis and the Sotos and not really even, you know, it'll still stay at the same level we're at now.
Yeah.
I will even admit, like, 350 over 12 is an overpay, but it doesn't matter. It's It's honestly what it's like as a dad, right, Clem? Where you're like, when you're spending with your kids, it's their birthday party, or we're buying Christmas presents right now. Last night, well, tonight technically, I was buying more Christmas presents for the kids because I went through their catalog, their little where they circled everything. Remember that when you were a kid?
Yep.
And there was still like a couple things for each of them that I didn't get them. And I was looking at how much has already been spent, and I was like, what's another $50 here and $25 there to make them truly happy? That's what Steve Cohen does, except he does it with $350 million. Because at this point, yeah, he's only had 2 All-Star games, and he's never hit 30 home runs, and he's never, he's finished in MVP voting once, but like, what's the fucking difference? It's literally, like, we've been making jokes about ashtray money and couch change money, but it like actually is to this guy. He literally, it's not a big deal to him.
All the art things we've said, right? It's like, yeah, I spent this much, this is about half as much as I spent on that fucking stick figure. Yeah. And our dumb brains have to, again, remember, we are not dealing with a normal
I'm getting
Mets owner, let alone baseball owner.
I'm getting a real life human that can play baseball at an incredible level versus a fucking stick figure art piece. It's not, there's no compare. He might not even be done. We might keep going. I mean, keep going, Cohen. What if he just keeps
going?
What if he just goes to $1 billion?
Liam Hendricks is out there. We could start talking about that, right? It's like
I'm waiting for them to find out that Ohtani is somehow a free agent right now because they fucking figured out something. Like if you can literally steal players away, and goddamn are the Giants. I mean, they must be. We miss out on Judge. We get Correa stolen. And I'm sure that the Giants fans and Yankee fans and Mets haters will say that Correa is broken and his medicals are bad and this is a bad. If Carlos Correa never plays a game for the Mets, I will still consider this a positive because of what it shows to the fan base and what it signals to all of baseball. Like, even in Clem, do you remember saying like we'll win a World Series in 10 years because like we'll start to sign some guys and we'll start the process and all that shit? And it's like, no, he went into and again, it doesn't even ensure a World Series, but it signals that like the hyperdrive. We're talking about like I was thinking about the Mets as a cruise ship that needed to be turned all the way around, and we're like the Millennium Falcon, just boom, warp speed, see you later, like into another galaxy.
And we were saying this the other day, like when you get text messages out of the blue. And it would always be bad news with the old Mets. You're like, oh boy, like if you got like a link to Twitter, you're like, what the fuck did we do this time? What guy got anal fissures? What guy fell down the stairs? What guy did this? What guy did that? And now it's like, holy shit, you're getting texted at 3 a.m. saying, oh, by the way, we signed Correa. He's not going to the Giants. He fucking failed his physical on purpose. He's like, Scott, I will jump down these stairs right now. I just want to play with my boy Lindor, who Francisco Lindor has to be like, holy shit, am I glad I fucking decided to sign with the Mets.
I'm not even kidding when I say that, though. Like, what do you think actually happened? Because I genuinely think this was I have remorse. I'm watching Verlander at the press conference. Lindor is saying, man, you should have come. We realized we were so close to like in the offer and like just make it happen somehow. I genuinely don't think this is unless the other thing is like maybe he really did fail and Cohen is just like, we will take our chances. Like maybe he will only get 1 year out of him, but 1 year is all we need. And like, just give him what he wants with maybe our contract has a ton of opt-outs and things that protect, like what do you actually think happened here?
I'm hoping it's a little protected just because you still have the Mets side of you that's waiting for, oh fuck, everything fell apart. He gets hurt. We now have this, monster thing. But the guy didn't get rich by being a fucking idiot that just spends and, gets. He's not like me. Like when I play the stocks, I remember when you're young in school, and you like learn the stock market, and then we all buy Nike, we buy Playboy, we just buy a ton of shit just because it's like flashy stuff, and you fucking lose your money in like a day in this stock market game. This guy's a fucking billionaire because he goes and wins in the stock market, and I feel like it's the same thing, and he just wants to fucking win a World Series. And I wonder, do you think that if the Mets season doesn't end the way it does in Atlanta and against the Padres, do you think he was just like, well, fuck this? He heard all the nonsense we had to hear from all the fucking trolls and all the negative Mets fans and was like, well, now we're just going to go for it. We're going to go for it.
I mean, honestly, the fact, the one stat that always bothered me was how the Mets have never or only one time gone to the playoffs back-to-back years. And because I don't include 2016. So for me, it was the one time in 99 and 2000, because every time it was ownership that was like, look, we're pretty good. Like, we're going to run this back out there and hopefully it just clicks this time. And sometimes instead, the better, like if you're not going to win with a guy like Cohen, get embarrassed, because if we like lost in Game 7 of the World Series, you think like, okay, maybe Steve. I mean, in reality, in either scenario, Steve would probably say, "Let's just fucking get it done." But he would maybe be like, "We're so close. Let's just go get one more guy." This is like, hey, all the haters, everybody who was down on the Mets, maybe Steve Cohen was too. Maybe Steve Cohen was fucking disgusted. Maybe Steve Cohen was like, "This was a complete collapse in my mind." And while we're over here defending it because, these guys still won 100 games, maybe he's like, no, I wanted a World Series and we lost in the wild card round. Like he went Steinbrenner, angry Steinbrenner, when we all thought, hey, there's nothing to like, keep your chin up. There's nothing to really be embarrassed about. That's just baseball. Maybe Cohen was like, no, this is a fucking joke. And here's what I'm going to do about it.
When you say they won 100 games, I forgot they did win 101 games. This whole fucking team, and now they have Correa. I mean, I'm just looking around. Like Correa is like a legitimate upgrade. Obviously, Nimmo stays. Verlander's an upgrade too. Just because if you get, you're going to get hopefully 25, 30 starts out of him. Hopefully, which we didn't get from Jake, and then like Senga, Bassett, whatever. That's the whole other thing. But it is kind of just like, yeah, fuck it, we're going for it. We don't give a fuck. Life is different, and life is never going to be the same ever again.
And I will say, actually, as you run through it, it's not like it is crazy that we had so many free agents and so much shuffling was happening that you spend all that money and the real, like the only true upgrade you can point to, like black and white upgrade, is Correa at third, right? Everything else is kind of like, we swapped this guy for this guy. We're hoping that this dude has a higher ceiling. We let this guy walk because he's not worth that kind of money. And everything else has just been kind of holding serve. So yeah, that's probably what Steve was thinking. Like while we're talking about it being like over the top, he's probably like, what are you talking about, guys? We did just, all the people being like, did they get better? They just stayed the same, blah, blah, blah. It's okay. Well, then at the very least, we've got, Correa playing third instead of, Escobar or a rookie or whatever.
And then
now this means, Beatty's got to be expendable. So make a move with him, right?
Yeah, unless you're, Cannon in left field, do you kind of, move Beatty out there? Yeah, Escobar can play second as well. So it's just, is Escobar like our super utility guy? And then there goes the DH problem. Escobar's your righty DH. Vogelback's your lefty DH. That's taken care of. Because, look, Steve's like us. We said this when he got the team. He goes, he's a Mets fan too. So he's thinking all the things we're thinking. And I think we all said, it does feel like there is a bat we still need. That was the one thing. A right-handed bat is the one thing we could use. And we got the best bat that was currently on the market by fucking far. It's great. Dude, we've been doing this podcast since 2018 or something like that, 2017. And I'm just thinking we were like begging for garbage to come here. And we're like celebrating. We were like so happy. We're like, all right, like Garris is back. Or I think Garris back.
We're like celebrating like Rajay Davis taking an Uber to the team, like Aaron off there. Maybe he'll be good. Like, embarrassing. I'm embarrassed at some of the podcasts we did back then.
We're gonna have to like wipe those clean from the record. So but I mean, we've been through it, through the depth of the darkness, and now we deserve this. Everyone, all the Mets fans listening deserve this. All the Mets fans watching deserve this on YouTube. Subscribe. it's a fucking new era. It's a new era for New York baseball. You hear that all the time, but it's and like you said, for the Giants to lose Judge to the Yankees, then lose Correa to the Yankees. I mean, just absolutely devastating if you're the fucking Giants.
It is one of the all-time heists that we'll be talking about for years to come. We'll probably not even get the full story of what really happened. This feels like one of those things that's like will be shady and shadowy forever. But god damn, man. And you know what's crazy? As you outline all that, like I don't think Steve Cohen is happy with a platoon of Escobar and Vogelback at DH. Like I still think he could go get it like a everyday DH bat if he wanted to, if there was one out there. Like it's that crazy that I mean, it is so hard to build a winner when you look around at how much money is being spent. And, you know, a lot of it is obviously tied up in short-term, high annual value contracts. But the fact that there is still even in like, we still don't have a DH with, you know, $500 million spent. And that'll be what the haters say. Like I said, the people will knock it. And there is nothing. That's what's so funny when Yankee fans are like, oh, what are you going to do now? Like, you became everything you made fun of. And it's like, yeah, but I'm not a fucking idiot. And I know what the other side of the argument is, you dumbasses. For fucking years, you guys never knew how to argue the fact that it's just awesome that you have an owner that cares about you. Everybody always just said, like, it's not my money and, like, who fucking cares? It's like, why don't you talk about how, like, amazingly generous it is that you have this one guy who's willing to spend all of his money and take his tax money for you because you deserve it because he loves you guys and the team that much. That's all that having an owner that spends. All that means is you've got the most dedicated, biggest fan. It's like being a Barstool fan. And you have when your favorite blogger is the guy who represents your teams. And for years you hear like Pirates fans be like, man, I wish that we had a pirate blogger at Barstool because then I could really enjoy the website. I wish that there was a fucking Tigers guy and then you get Castellani and it's like, oh, we got a guy who represents us, and it's like, we got a guy who represents us and he does it with billions of dollars. Go ahead and crack your jokes. It's like making fun of people like partying on a yacht. It's like, okay, whatever, man. It's like, you know what it is? It's the people who make fun of the Met Gala. And we always say the Met Gala we make fun of for being the most pretentious, gaudy, silly, over-the-top thing. But the minute you get an invite, you would be like, hell yeah, I'm fucking going. That's Steve Cohen and the Mets. Enjoy the decadence, brother.
Enjoy the decadence. The opening day gala. Remember we talked about that? Yeah. That's the kind of we should have known back then. That's the kind of visions this guy had for the team. And he's just going to do whatever it takes. Shout out Grandpa Ralph. I'm sure he wants to get Grandpa Ralph a title. His father-in-law who, has been going to Mets games for like decades and just seen all the bullshit we've seen on the field.
It's a real fan who he gets to play, GM. He gets it's fantasy baseball with the real team.
Did you hear Heyman in his report said Cohen was on vacation in Hawaii and was like, I think we need something else. That's what he said. And then he goes, this was our something else. Like,
and because he's sitting on the beach, his toes in the sand, beautiful wife next to him. The kids are there. They're bringing their boyfriends and girlfriends or whatever, extended family. And he's like, life is so great. But, like, I just feel like I'm missing something, Alex. What do you mean, Steve? It's just I just think I need a third baseman. And I think I'm just going to go get Correa. It's just amazing to think of how these things actually unfold. And she'd be like, what are you talking about, honey? It's too late. We said we weren't going to go past 300. It's like, yeah, but I just changed my mind. And he's just, just make it happen.
And the quote here, Aaron, this was important. This puts us over the top. This is a good team. I hope it's a good team.
That's what Steve said?
I think so, yeah. I think that was basically the quote that I saw in the post.
Baseball is such a wacky sport that you still have to hope. This is the equivalent of the prime LeBron Heat or Durant going to the Warriors, where it's like, yeah, technically they could have lost, and LeBron did beat the there's that time. But these are the moves that like like I said, do everything you can off the field to ensure the World Series. It's like there's not much more you can do than go get the international guy, go get the position player, go get the pitcher, and to think of fucking Jacob deGrom in Texas lying through his teeth, talking about the vision for the future of the Texas Rangers when you had Steve Cohen in New York doing what he was about to do. Like, just say, brother, you were all about the money, you know? And that's what's funny. It's like, okay, you want to see who's all about the money? I'll show you money, motherfucker.
What in your vision doesn't have a Carlos Correa level free agent? At third, you're signing all your guys in the spots they should be. You're getting the biggest international free agent. And again, Justin Verlander. Justin, why were you so sure about this vision? Steve, like that's it. Steve.
One man, one name, one word. Steve.
And I'm going to put it up right now. I'll put it in the chat. All you motherfuckers got to get this shirt. I know I don't know how much we're selling yet, but this is going to be the shirt of the fucking season. Steve Kong has arrived.
Steve Kong, he's hanging off the Empire State Building, and all the other teams in the league are the helicopters swirling around with little pea shooters, and he's just flap, flap. Like whacking them down, and the World Series trophy is the woman that he reaches in and grabs with his little fucking huge, holds a little tiny trophy. Steve Kong. And you know what I love even more than Steve Kong was when Boris said he's a Goliath, and the game needs Goliaths. We haven't had a Goliath since Steinbrenner. There hasn't been a guy. There's been teams like the Giants. There's been teams like the Red Sox had some sustained success, and the Astros have been like the obviously the crown jewel, like the highest level. But you don't really know the names behind them as well. There's not like a face to it. They're just like this machine. And honestly, I still would say that the Astros are the most impressive organization in baseball because they do it through the farm,
yeah.
And that's what I think Steve is building towards, and I think we'll be there eventually. But for right now, to have one of those Goliaths that's like a true Steinbrenner, that's just like, I don't give a fuck. By the way, look at that. Yo, look at that. When we said a week ago, we said, man, wouldn't it have been incredible to get 3 of the 4? And then we fucking, in the end, we did.
Yep, the New York Post headline. We have photoshops of Judge, Correa, Diaz, and Verlander all in Yankee jerseys, and now the Mets have 3 of the 4
the
guys.
The Mets get 3 of the 4, and the one guy that the Yankees do get is the guy they already had. I mean, Steinbrenner, Cashman, and Hal Steinbrenner must be like, well, I mean, what do you fucking do? What do you do? Like. It's totally flip-flop. The Wilpons for years were just like, how can we keep up? And now it's the other way around. And my God.
It doesn't even feel real, Kev. Like it's not going to sink in until we see him like opening day, basically, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't wait to read more about it. This is going to be fascinating. I really want to know what happened medically. I still just think it's a heist because of the way the Giants, that press release says everything to me. If the press release said, the San Francisco Giants medical team found something that they were unaware of, and like, despite, the fact that we're disappointed, we think this is the best move for our team for the long run, and we're going to use this money elsewhere to make our fans happy. Blah, 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 lip service, blah, 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 et cetera, the end. That press release should have just said, Steve Cohen is a motherfucker. Period. That's what that meant. So I'm interested to see what it says. The Puerto Rican Bash Brothers is my dream. It like Javi Baez and Lindor was kind of like a little taste, but I think Correa and Lindor on the left side of the infield is like has potential to be a truly awesome thing. I hope that also can go the other way, where it's like it makes the locker room clicky. Like if it's like those guys, they're friends and they're not like there is potential for like a powder keg situation here. But I think you got enough leadership with Scherzer and Verlander to prevent that sort of shit from happening. So like, yeah, I'm interested to see like what he's like on the field, how the dynamic of the team plays out. feels to the rest of the guys. I mean, the players must be as fucking excited as we are. They're the ones. They're probably waking up at 4 a.m. going, "Holy shit!" I mean, there's just so many layers to what a signing like this does that I can't wait to like see the backlash and the fallout from it. It's fucking amazing.
And I'm pretty happy. Shout out Dansby Swanson for going to Chicago. Like again, like
yeah. Did the Mets get better? Did the Mets get worse? What about the fucking Braves, man? Moving some serious, like even the Contreras, trade, I guess. And I know you bring in another like promising catcher, but like some strange moves and letting the major guy go, and it's like they are a great team, but Steve is spending enough to try to make up for that difference.
And that counts for something when you're not losing your best free agents, and if they want Grissom to stay there, then that's fine. But it seems like that means something. If Nimmo goes out, proves his fucking worth, and gets paid the money to stay on the team, you would think all the other guys are like, if I fucking play good and Steve wants me, he's going to. He's going to pay. What Steve wants, Steve gets. And I had to hear all the fucking trolls out there when DeGrom left for Texas. DeGrom didn't give him a chance, it sounds like. DeGrom didn't even give him a chance to match. So it's like, all right, cool, man.
This shows not only did DeGrom not give him a chance, I really think that where there's smoke, there's fire. And all that talk about how he was mad about Brody Van Wagenen getting fired, and he was mad that the Wilpons lost the team. I cannot believe I'm saying it, but I think DeGrom was a true Wilpon guy from the Wilpon era. And I didn't think those even existed on the team. But it sounds like not only did DeGrom never give it a chance, but I feel like they like knew it. Like I feel like Steve was like, make an offer that like a low ball offer. We're moving on from this guy. He's broken. Let's go get another guy with bad medicals. Who gives a fuck? And that's the other thing. Like if Carlos Correa is injured and doesn't play, like we as Mets fans, nothing changes for us. We're used to that.
Mm-hmm.
Up until this very season, we've gone through having a great player just sit out a lot. So even if the medicals are bad, we're holding serve. Like that's normal for us. I won't be, crying over Carlos Correa being on the bench. I had a fucking immortal Cy Young on the bench. So whatever.
We are built around two around 40-year-old aces, right? And then just signed a guy who failed his medicals with his other team. So it's like it wouldn't be a Mets season if you weren't living on like a razor's edge, basically.
It's true. No, absolutely. Like those two guys could implode, and Correa's medicals could fail, and we are a 75 win team. And that's why I say that Cohen might not even be done, but again, it doesn't matter when it's all short term. It's like, it's like be going on a spending spree when you have a bonus coming like the next week. These guys coming off the books every couple years, staggered in such a way. Now a couple weeks ago we were saying the only long-term contracts we have are Nimmo, Diaz, and Lindor, and now you got to add Correa in, and you start to now you add Senga in, and all of a sudden you do have some long-term contracts, but none of them are like back-breaking. None of them are prohibitive, I don't think. And the way that the league continues to inflate, it's like I don't think Nimmo at $20 million prohibits you from Ohtani and Soto at like 45, because that's just the way these contracts just keep on going up because of guys like Steve Cohen. So you're gonna, to be a championship team, you're gonna need to have like $4 $35 million and up players, $35 million and up players. So that's just like that's the breaks, and Steve Cohen's gonna be willing to do that no matter who's already on the payroll. If there's guys who are available, he's gonna do it.
And a guy that comes through in the clutch, right? That's like Correa's kind of calling card here. So you get a guy that comes through in the clutch. It's fucking crazy, man. He's your third baseman now, so you take care of that hole. And then, like you said, we have all the prospects. We didn't really do anything at the deadline with any of our big prospects. We have the guys in the draft.
That's the other thing about spending. The people who hate the spending and want to build through the farm system, well, that's what this short-term spending now allows you to keep all your prospects. So think of this as half of the money going to the player and half of the money going to your farm system, because it allows you not any of those prospects, or in this case, now your prospects like Beatty can become available to make a big deadline move, to make that final tweaking piece that you need. So this is spending. Don't think of it as spending on outside players. Think of it as spending on your farm as well.
And Correa didn't get a qualifying offer either, so they don't lose the pick. I swear,
mean, it's perfect. Like that's Steve Cohen keeps saying, like, well, but I think his philosophy, if I had to guess here, is it's just money. As long as we're not losing picks, as long as we're not losing players, I can spend the money. I have a surplus of that. So, he's that meme with the guy who's standing and all the bullets are hitting him in the back. That's Steve Cohen's money, protecting all the players, all the draft picks, everything you need to build our infrastructure. And it's him and his wallet are taking all the heat.
It's crazy. Like you said, like when you're going shopping for the kids and you're like, do I get them this Power Wheels? They'll probably grow out of it in a year. It's like, it's just money. Who gives a fuck? He'll just throw it in the garbage or give it to the poor person down the road.
Have that ice cream thing from Melissa and Doug. Yeah, but they want another one, so just fucking do it.
They'll be happy.
Yeah, I'll do it for the smile. Like they're gonna open it up on Christmas. They're gonna smile for 1 second and probably throw it to the side, but that one smile is worth it. Steve Cohen is just buying us smiles, man. Oh my God, I cannot wait for Barstool at the ballpark this year. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Barstool at the ballpark this year is going to be the greatest thing in sports. Darren in the 7 line must be like, oh my God.
And when the kids are going to get a chance to play, all the prospects, is when our entire team is going to the World Baseball Classic this spring.
Yeah.
Because it's like Correa and Lindor and Puerto Rico. We have half the guys on fucking Team USA. And then that's when we can get the babies up there. Fucking Francisco Alvarez, the guy who was hitting home runs every single day on my Twitter feed.
I forgot about
on the
team now. Unfortunately, is this the end for Nito? I feel like it kind of is. They got Alvarez up and they made a move for another guy, right?
Yeah, I forgot about because then that would be the third catcher, and I don't know where we're gonna have room on our 40-man roster.
Alvarez, the new dude, and Nito, right?
Yeah, and you figure McCann is gone, but 40-man roster is tight as is before. We just signed Carlos Correa to a 12-year deal.
I would hate to lose my guy, but that's just how them's the breaks. But and now, so they signed Ottavino, right? We lost Lugo. You lose Trevor May. You sign Ottavino. You got Diaz. They're looking at that dude from the White Sox. I saw
Hendricks.
He has 37, 38 saves the last couple of years. Remember when they got JJ Putz and K-Rod and we were like, oh my God, this is going to be the 8th and 9th inning from hell. And obviously it didn't pan out. But if you go get a guy who's almost a 40 save all-star and he's, not your closer, holy shit.
And that's going with Robertson, who was the best reliever arm on the market.
Oh my God.
The dude from the Rays, the lefty, I forgot his name. Brooks, whatever. Anyway, Rayleigh, that's what it is. Oh God, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Pete at first, McNeil at second, Lindor at short, Correa third, Alvarez behind the dish. Then you're going Marte, Nimmo, I guess Canna out there. And then I do think that left field spot will be a spot they tinker with maybe. I don't know if Beatty would, get some time out there because Beatty, third is now locked up basically for good.
Yeah, no, third's locked down. I think, I would move Beatty. It's just like you got a guy for 12 fucking years, unless there's some sort of crazy, 1 year opt out every year sort of thing to protect the team. Like that frees up. You can use him as a trade piece now, I think, in my mind, because he's also good, but it's not like an untouchable guy, I still, when you say DH of Escobar and Vogelback, I don't think that's up to Steve Cohen's
standards.
I think I think there could still be another bat to be had. I guess if you McCann cannot play. He cannot play. I guess you could just keep Alvarez in the minors still, but for what reason? I guess if you just keep Nito as your backup, and I keep forgetting the fucking new guy, and you don't need to rush him. But to me, it's he's ready. What's he gonna do? He struggled at AAA, but then turned it around. So if he just goes and mashes in AAA all year, Who gives a fuck
I was
about that? That's not that's the thing. So
I was talking to Joe DeMeo, and we were just kind of like figuring out like where like who they were going to get before tonight. And we're like, oh, kind of feels like maybe Conforto is that guy that fills in that spot, right? And it's like fucking the Bartolo thing. Like we used to be like, oh, get Bartolo to fill that, rotation spot. And now the rotation spot's being filled by Justin Verlander. It's like, no, boys, time to dream a little bigger than that. And if Conforto wants to come, I'm sure Stevie would have him. Like that's the fucked up thing about it. Like he could be the, 39th man on the 40-man roster if he wants to be. But it's not the thing where
we're aiming a little bit higher these days.
The days of Jose Reyes playing third, Adrian Gonzalez playing first, and all that fucking bullshit. Juan Lagares playing center field every single year, day in and day out. It's over. Michael Kadire, gone.
Well, Lucas Duda playing in the outfield.
Yes.
Over.
We jam guys into positions they don't usually play, but they're good enough to play those positions.
Right.
Like
now it's the other way around.
The third, just because he loves Francisco Lindor that much. Which, by the way, you have to, again, shout out Lindor. To be such a fucking awesome dude that another guy would be like, the only person I'll play at third base for is Francisco Lindor. That's all you need to know right there. Worth every fucking penny of that 341 right now, too. It's looking like a fucking bargain.
He's a leader. He's a fucking ambassador. He's a baller. He is. I mean, he was everything. It started with him, and it all started to trickle in after that. God, it is good to be a Mets fan. And again, it does not guarantee anything, except what it does guarantee is like competitive. You're gonna be in the hunt for the division like every fucking year. And yeah, baseball is just a coin flip, but you got to get through. And people talk about like, well, does this is the same exact team that got you the playoffs, but like you failed there. It's like, well, all you can do is get to the playoffs. There is no team assembled that guarantees anything in the postseason. The only thing you can try to do is guarantee that you get there. And this kind of team all but guarantees you make it to the postseason. And that's all you can really ask from your owner. And like he did it in the biggest fucking way. Steve Kong, a Goliath.
Oh!
Oh my God.
Yeah, so basically this is what life is like as a Mets fan. You might just wake up one night to piss, you check your phone, and then it's like,
is that what happened? You just got to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, I just went up to take a piss. I think Joe DeMeo texted me something about because we had been talking about Correa earlier in the day, and I'm like, "What's this?" I go on Twitter, and then I see like a bunch of people tagging me. You've been like, "Wake up, wake up,
wake up!" You're gonna be the happiest guy in the world when you wake up.
And then at this point, I'm thinking of the last time we had the Correa stuff where it was like in the middle of the night. I'm like, "All right, maybe." And then it's like Heyman, and I check to make sure it's not a fake John Heyman, who paid for Twitter Blue.
Once I tweeted it right after you did, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, did Clem not check?" Because it's a new fake Twitter. Oh, man.
And now it's like you just did like a rail of cocaine in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. And now it's like I have another 2 hours to scroll on my phone.
What am I going to do now? Like, kids won't be up for another couple hours. I'm not tired. Like, what's.
You know what you could do? Throw on the fucking 2011 Mets. That'll make you go to sleep. For all the fucking people that I had to hear how this team isn't different, Steve Cohen's just another Wilpon. Those people should have to go watch the Mets in non-HD bullshit.
I just, for the first time in this 48-minute and 11-second episode, thought of Frank Fleming. What do you do if you're Frank Fleming right now? I mean, your shtick is dead. Everything you said was wrong. It's good to be a Mets fan. It's good to be anybody other than Frank Fleming. Merry Christmas. Do you want to take calls or people? Do we just call it?
We can. You want to take them? Yeah,
let's take a couple. We'll see. We'll take the temperature. Maybe there's some West Coast people who it's not too late for them. We got enough people in the chat. Let's see what people think, and then we'll go back to bed or start the day, whatever.
I just put it in the chat. I won't put it on Twitter. I'll just throw it in the chat. If anyone wants to come, we'll rock and roll. Just give us your thoughts. We'll try to make it pretty quick. Can anyone? There are some people who are awake in the middle of the fucking night here in the East Coast too, but I'm not sure how many people are screen ready as you and I, as fucking just a couple of dads in their robes talking baseball.
You want to talk about? You want- Let me show you. I had if I had truly just popped out of bed and got on camera, I was eating ice cream before bed as I do every single night. Shout out to Haagen-Dazs caramel cone, and I was laying on my on my back while I ate it, and I dripped some of it right on my shirt, and it absolutely would have looked like cum. Can you see that right there? It was like right on my chest. It would have looked exactly like I was just given head. So I was like, let me change my shirt at least for this.
I'm sure you're not the only one who has cum on their shirt after they woke up and saw this news on their phone.
Yeah, I woke up thinking it was fake cum. I'm going to bed with real cum.
All right, this is a perfect guy here, my guy Angel. This guy got us fired up back when we were just, a peasant team with Eduardo Escobar at shortstop. How we doing, Angel, baby?
What's up, baby boy?
I was playing MLB The Show, playing my career mode, and I was like, okay, let me go to bed, turn off the game, went on Twitter to check what was going on. I noticed John Heyman's tweet, Correa to the Mets, 12 years, 330. I'm like, wait a minute, time out. No, let me do the right thing, check to see if it's a Twitter blue. It was legit. And now I'm like, I don't believe it. And then I saw Fox Sports MLB tweet it, and I was like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. Yeah. I just got off a live stream on Twitch explaining to all my friends how I'm panicking. You said it perfectly, Clem. This is not the same team anymore. No one can say that. Like, okay, we lost DeGrom. Boo-hoo. I'm saying boo-hoo right now because at this point, I knew he wasn't going to come back sooner or later. Yeah. But then we bounced back and got Verlander. Instantly. We got Pintamita. We got Senga. We brought back Nimmo. And on top of all of that, they were still talking about buying more guys. And I'm like, does Steve Cohen not care? Is anybody going to stop this man?
No.
Like, somebody please. And then Correa, I will forever say Scott Boras is a damn genius. I know a lot of people hate him, but like for him to go to the Mets.
I had said a couple times in recent years that the days of Scott Boras, super agent, are kind of gone. Like there was a couple guys, I don't remember off the top of my head. There was a couple guys he overplayed their hand and they didn't get the best money. And I think a lot of people started to get like, we don't want to deal with Boras anymore. But as your agent, it's your job to make your client happy. And I think Correa just said, dude, I don't know what I was thinking. I want to go to the Mets. I want to play with Lindor. Just make it happen. And he did.
I believe Boras has Nimmo as a client. I'm pretty sure Boras went directly to Steve Cohen after Bogart became a Padre and was like, hey, look, this guy wants to be here. I don't care if you got to just empty your bank account. Get him on your team.
Do it.
Then the Correa thing. He used us as bait, which I love because you would never hear that 10 years ago with Wilpons. And he used us as bait to say, hey, Giants, Steve Cohen could steal y'all, man. I mean, you better go get him before Steve Cohen get on that phone. He's on the phone. I can hear his phone call right now. I can hear his ringtone. Do you want me to answer? I will answer. No, wait. No, wait. We'll give him all the money. I'm concerned about the physical, though. I don't know what the deal with that is because, again, no one said anything about it. It was supposedly something that the Giants saw, but the doctors disagreed. And then for Boras to immediately say, so he's still a free agent, right? Yeah. Dial up Steve Cohen. Hey, Steve, you want your guy?
Dude, I don't know what will happen with medicals either. I can't imagine, even with Steve Cohen not caring, there's no way he gives a $300+ million contract for 12 years to someone who is like that injured, unless it has out clauses all over the place. If you get injured, the contract.
I see him and his people looking at what happened at those medicals and probably saying, I don't care if this is worth it. It's probably nothing major.
Well, even if it is, it's probably, it could be something like DeGrom. Like, hey, you're rolling the dice. He might be injured and he might miss major time, or he might be lights out and when he plays, he's great. And Cohen was probably like, he gets hurt.
I mean, oh my God, a player of ours missing time.
I think it's more logical that there is nothing wrong with him and that this just shadow behind the scenes, Steve Cohen and Scott Boras, SEC violation type shit, where it's like, let's just say that he's injured and get a doctor that we know have on the tape to say, you know what, his ACL is in bad shape. There's just no way one team is not willing to pony up $300 million and another team it instantly is. It's just this is you're in the deep end. You are playing in the big boy league now, where guys with a lot of money pull a lot of strings. It's like politics.
I will leave with 3 things. Number 1, you got to feel for Giants fans. They had thought for 10 minutes they had Aaron Judge, which I saw it, and I immediately showed my coworker who's a Yankees fan, "You just lost Judge, you idiot!" Ha! And then they ended up not losing. I'm like, whatever. Then you get Correa after you baited the Mets, and then you just lose him like that. I mean, good Lord. Number 2, you guys were talking about Beatty. You were talking about Alvarez. Perhaps they move Beatty to who knows? There's a situation where Beatty can become a DH.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, that's an option if you don't want to put Francisco Alvarez as a DH. I don't see them getting rid of Nito at all. If Nito is gone and McCann's still here, I'm rioting.
Well, no, listen. I was operating under the assumption that they do want Alvarez up, but if they don't want Alvarez up, it gives you flexibility with Nito. But to go make a move for a catcher, to have a prospect catcher, and then to still have 2 on your roster, something's got to give.
Exactly. You can't go into the regular season, or even, let's just say, you can't go 2 weeks before the season begins with 4 catchers on your team. Someone's leaving, and someone's leaving for some bullpen pieces. Not offensive.
Or just even leaving, like, I mean, at this point, can you just, like, cut McCann? Can you just, like,
again, we look at last year. Steve Cohen cut Robinson Cano. He showed last year that he is willing to eat the money in order to make this team better. And number 3, and more importantly, no one cares. I do not care about the prospects anymore. I do not care about the long-term future anymore. I have been suffering for too many years. All of us Met fans have been suffering for too many years to give a shit. If this is true and Carlos Correa is wearing number 4 at third base in Citi Field next year, we are winning a championship.
Let's fucking go.
I'm
saying it right now. Even if it's not this year, sometime in the next 2 years, we're winning a title. I don't care about the Astros. I don't care about the Dodgers. Fuck the Braves and fuck the Phillies. The New York Mets will be champions.
LFGM. That's my guy, Angel. I told you my guy, Angel. How we doing, Timmy Q?
What's up, fellas? Merry Christmas.
Merry fucking Christmas.
You up in Canada?
No, it's Staten Island. Nice.
All right.
They needed a hat. It's fucking 4:30 in the morning.
Stevie Claus, baby. Stevie Claus coming to town.
We're still thinking too small.
What do you got?
So we don't need Batty anymore. We have a third baseman for 12 years. We don't need Ronnie anymore. We have Lindor for 10 more years, 11 more years. We don't need Parada. We have Alvarez.
Package
Those
them all.
3 guys in the package. Put Peterson and McGill in there. 4 guys.
Jesus.
Dude,
Tommy.
you're making a lot of sense. He's making a lot of sense, Clem. He's talking a lot of sense.
You don't need those 3 guys. You get those 3 guys in a package. I don't want to lose Ramirez. He's a great outfielder, young. But if we got to lose him, fuck it. You put him in there.
Bro, I honestly, you're right. We were thinking small. Like, I keep thinking about waiting for Ohtani and Soto. Don't wait. Just go get them. Go get Ohtani now.
We don't need the prospect.
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 We can go get Ohtani.
I'm here.
Yo.
I forgot to go into Epra mode. Of course, we have to be thinking Epra mode right now.
What's the craziest thing about what you just said is it's not crazy at all. It's
not anymore.
It's not, but even it's not anymore, but it actually makes a lot of baseball sense. Like, these are good prospects that, we don't need, of course. I would love to have a real catcher like Alvarez. Like, there's something to me about having like a Molina or a Pudge Rodriguez, or these guys who, like, Piazza, so valuable in such a hard spot to get production out of. But, other than that, like, all the rest of those guys can fucking bounce. And if you got to even throw them in, and then you go get Ohtani.
You get a pitcher, you get a right fielder, you get a DH, whatever you want to make him. He's not pitching.
Yo.
And he's only there for 1 more year. They can't get everybody. You can only give them 3 or 4 prospects. They can't get too much. They're going to lose them in free agency no matter what.
I mean, at this point, I don't even know if they could even get all that. There's like 3 teams that could even like get Ohtani, I think. And it's like basically you're just doing that just to get a jump on the Dodgers.
Right. That's the thing. You might not even have to.
You got to get the deal in, and you got to sign them before they're going to make a Cohen rule. They have to make a Cohen rule. You can't keep it. Can't keep it like this.
That I wonder how much of that was, like you said, Kev, if they're like, listen, they can't do anything about this. They'd have to open the CBA back up. And that is like Cohen saw, like we said it when they finally approved him, the fox is in the hen house and the door has just been closed in the hen house for another 10 years.
Yeah, now he's just massacring it. Yeah. And like in a couple years, they'll open the door back up and everything will, but for right now, he might honestly, that might legitimately be going through his head. Like, I've got one shot in this window to go bananas because they will stop me because they have to.
Yeah.
And so let's go off the walls. But like, what? And guys, what if it's like, what if he goes to like 600 million? Like, what if he keep going, Cohen? What if he just doesn't stop?
What is he? I think he's 200 away from $1 billion.
Jesus Christ. We're going to have $1 billion baseball team. Is that what's going to happen here? We're going to have $1 billion
like,
baseball
that's what I mean.
team?
It sounds so stupid, but it's like, you know, what's the stop? Like, it doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter.
Who's going to tell him to stop?
Timmy, I like the way you think, Timmy. I like the way
appreciate it.
It's like it's Game of Thrones when you like have the dragons. It's like, well, what are we like? How are we gonna, how you stop this? It is wild.
Go get Ohtani. Don't sit back. Don't wait. Don't let the Dodgers jump in last minute. Trade these guys. You don't need them anymore.
Gotta believe. I like that, Timmy. I like it. Thanks for calling in, Timmy. We're going. This guy is in Epler mode right now. Made Upton. I like that name. How we doing, Made Upton?
Hey, what's up, man? You just know, right now it's Christmas. Everybody who's Puerto Rican and back to Puerto Rico. And Carlos Correa has all of his buddies over, and he leans over to Javi Baez and goes, man, you made a lot of money last offseason. How was it? And Javi Baez just goes, oh, man, it fucking sucks. I'm in Detroit. Fuck this, man. I wish I would have stayed with the Mets for a little bit less money. They made me a decent offer, but fuck, Detroit sucks. And Correa just called up Boris and went, dude, you got to get me out of this, dude. Fuck.
Imagine
let me tell you something. In New York City, the Puerto Ricans are going to be on fire. They're going to fucking love this. We're going to get the flags out. We're going to get the reggaeton horns going. Bow, 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 bow. It is going to be a Puerto Rican Day parade every day in New York City.
Yo, when we get Shohei at the trade deadline after the Angels flop again, we're going to have so many Japanese fans and so many Puerto Rican fans. We're going to have like wild good food.
And that's how you get that Japanese like infusion of jersey sales and fans watching and like that. There's a real business side to getting guys like Senga and Ohtani where it's like this almost pays for itself because you become a international team. It's not a joke, man. This is the way. This is the way.
It's gonna be nice to see all the Yankee hats going in the closet for all the K-pop idols and stuff like that. Blue goes with a lot of stuff.
I love it. Man.
Good night, guys.
They made up. Then keep it fucking rolling, baby. All right, Nicky boy, what's going on, pal?
What's up, dude?
Tonight is a night that I'm glad that I cannot sleep because holy shit, I was not expecting this. I was really just bombing around on YouTube, and then I was going to queue up another video, and I see you guys are live with breaking news. The Mets signed Correa. Holy shit. And thank God I always keep a Met hat around, too. I got to tell you, at least in the short term for next season, I am so excited about the flexibility of this roster. It was the first thing I thought of because so many guys can play multiple positions now, right? Like, we have Correa who can play short, and obviously he's going to move to third. And rumors are he can also play second. Jeff can play second and the outfield. We have Guillorme who could basically play all three of those infield positions besides first. Like, we're going to be having guys just taking days off or half a days off, DHing, just for shits and giggles, and then they'll be so rested at the end of the season where I don't think we're going to have some of the problems that we had where guys just look kind of shot by the time the playoffs came around.
Great point.
From your lips to God's ears, man.
Also, too, and I saw somebody bring this up. I forget who it was. Considering Scherzer and Verlander's age, I personally think if McGill gets back to where he was before he got hurt before last season, we could go 6-man rotation and keep all those guys fresh for the playoffs, too.
I was actually thinking about what do you do to combat the idea that, like, Scherzer just seems to run out of gas at this age, and Verlander might as well. And I was thinking about that. If you had enough arms, just skip those guys or go 6-man. I mean, it takes a lot. You have to have really good pitching to even consider that, and you have to be winning. And because, you know, if you're in a pennant race, you don't want to be, you know, going 6-man rotation and skipping guys. But if, you know, they open up a big lead or something goes crazy,
or
like that,
Siler's back.
Yeah, those guys were fucking good, man. They like, I remember being like, do we have a couple, you know, aces in the works? And then obviously, you know, it didn't pan out. But what if they even start off like they did last year and you get a little bit of luxury in the beginning? It's not the craziest idea.
Yeah, because like McGill, when he came back, they tried to put him in the bullpen, and some guys just can't do that, like mentally. So I think if they, you know, stretch him back out, he's got a good shot at returning to form. And also, not to mention, Senga in Japan, they go 6-man rotations, so that keeps him on his usual schedule too. It makes a lot of sense. I know it's a bold move, especially in the MLB, but that's clearly not the focus right now. The focus is Correa and Uncle Stevie just dropping his nuts on the table again.
It does allow you to get a little more creative, though, when you got, you know, like, it's just so nice to have a real lineup of, like, however you want to do it with, like, Nimmo, McNeil, Lindor, Alonso, Correa, like, or whatever, however you do that, however you line it up, it's one of those teams that it's like, I say this a lot with football when I'm watching the Jets when they're at their lowest, and then you watch like Mahomes versus fucking, you know,
Josh Allen,
and you're like, Josh Allen, you're like, holy shit, this is like a whole other sport. When you watch a lineup like that, it'll feel like 2006, where it's like, oh, we're gonna score every fucking inning, all the goddamn time, and it's just guaranteed because everybody's better than the opposing pitching. And it'll be like that for the first time, even in recent years. 2015, the team was always built on pitching. Now, I mean, yeah, you can say it's built on pitching with the stars we have, but to have a bona fide lineup like that is like, oh my God, I can sink my teeth into that. You get Marte. It's like, oh, there's so many fucking players.
So much fun. And Buck is going to have a blast managing this team. I already know. These season tickets have already paid for themselves.
The confidence he's going to instill in these guys and the jokes that are going to be flying and like, Steve. One man, one word, one name.
Thanks for calling in, Nick, my friend.
Good to see you guys. Thank you.
Have ourselves a night. I'm going to tell people, like, you know, try to go to sleep, have some fun. Like, you can't go to sleep after this. This is just.
What do you think? I mean, honestly, that Ohtani shit that was, you know, like, it's aggressive and it's a little bit like extreme, I guess, but we are in the aggressive and extreme portion of the Steve Cohen era right now. Like,
we're in the end game now, so it's. Yeah. I don't think you have to go too crazy. I really don't. I think does he has the no trade, right?
Is that whole thing with the no trade, like accept the Mets or whatever?
I don't know if that's true, but if it's true,
really?
Oh, that's awesome. But even if, like, I think he has a no trade for this year.
I never understood when they said that. It was like he has a no trade clause except for the Mets, meaning that the Angels could trade him there without his consent. But everyone was saying, oh, it means Ohtani's picking the Mets.
It was essentially he's picking them. I don't know how true.
Not really. Isn't it the other way around?
No. It was a good thing for us, not a bad.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So was that Ohtani being like, you're allowed to trade me to the Mets at any time, and everyone else I have to sign off on?
Exactly. Yeah. By the way, and just because he brought it up, this was we have the Japanese market coming in and the Puerto Rican market. They seem to enjoy themselves during that 3-home run game against the Yankees. It is going to be a wonderful melting pot in Citi Field this year.
It's going to be a delightful melting pot. In New York City, man. Boricuas are going to go bananas for this one. I wish I was Puerto Rican just to have the fucking Correa Lindor fun. Are you kidding me? There's
Let's
Javi
throw our boy
Baez is
Nikki the
gonna-
good on. How we doing, Nikki?
Guys,
Oh, what-
Clem, you said
What's up,
don't
man?
go. You said don't go crazy. I'm in quarantine since Friday. I haven't
Oh,
seen a
jeez.
soul, and I haven't slept. I can't sleep. I feel like dog shit. And then I'm just checking my phone, and I see this light up, dude. I agree with the guy before. You go get Otani. Like, you go get it. We need
And
a
you
power.
can.
We need a power bat. You put him behind Pete. And you know me. You know how my brain works. I just want those Yankee fans to wake up right now.
I know,
Because
I know.
I'm going to be – if you thought I was insufferable today, I was bad on Twitter today. I was annoying everyone under the sun. If you think I was bad today, just wait till they wake up. I am going to be – I might get kicked off. Elon might ban me tomorrow because I'm going to be bad news for whoever wakes up.
Look at that.
Look
There
at
it
that
is.
thing.
By the way, we might have to put that on a shirt. Look at that, man.
That is bad, man. You
Dude,
can't –
that
that's
is like that is gonna go down in history. The fucking New York Post still thinking this is a Yankee town where, by the way, the Bombers need to spend. And Steve Cohen said, you know what? That fucking cover right there might be the reason for Steve Cohen right now. He might
That's
have
what
just said,
we
"Fuck
do.
this."
That's what we used to do. We
Yep.
would make this dumb fucking cover.
Yep.
And then we'd be eating crow for the next how many years as the
This would
Yankees
be
just
LOL
buy all
Mets.
these dudes.
LOL Yanks right here.
I can't believe you guys are up. I mean, Clem, I know the bladder. We're at that age.
We're at that age, yeah.
Isn't it
We're-
awful?
Like,
Dude,
thank God we're old and
like,
washed up. If we weren't old and washed up, we would have never seen the news.
You're right. You're right. This is the one benefit of having to pee in the middle of the night as an almost 40-year-old. It sucks, but hey, at least you get to do fucking fun podcasts with your buddies.
So I think with the prospects, I do think you need to move some. Like, you can't. I mean, at some point, like,
There's just no reason for Beatty to be here.
there's no reason for him to be here. I like Beatty. I think he's going to be.
But-
He's going to be a stud. But you could tell he's probably a few years away, especially defensively. And it kind of, if Alvarez is going to be a DH, you're like, oh man. So someone's going to go, which means we're going to get an impact player because these prospects, you know, for all intents and purposes, they're pretty up there. You know, they're solid. So we're going to add something.
If you include Alvarez and you have the number one prospect in all of baseball, surrounded by a couple other like good dudes, you know,
I'm already
and
thinking
like
about
Clem said, there's
deadline.
only who can pay him. You know, the Dodgers, I get, you know, could the broke boy Yankees pay him? Probably not. You know, maybe
The Giants, because they can't buy a guy right now.
I mean, yeah, the Giants might have to eventually just be like, here's $500 million. Will somebody come play for our team?
Well, did you see the report? They said, I read one of the Giants that gets on the beat was like, yeah, the Giants flagged something in the physical, but the doctors didn't agree. So
Ooh.
I'm thinking that there probably was something. I tell you, I think he threw.
We'll never have the real answer. This is some WWF shit. Something went on behind the scenes. This is
It's all pro wrestling, baby.
This
Everybody
is
knows
Vince
that.
McMahon type shit. We'll never know the real answer. I hope that we can get some inside sources, use our Barstool poll to maybe find out what really happened. But you just don't. This doesn't happen. You know, this doesn't happen, and it's not just because somebody had a tendon or a ligament that didn't look good on an X-ray. Like,
Yeah, you don't.
Correa just submitted this X-ray. He's like, I swear to God, this is me. I can't sign with you guys. I swear to God.
You don't get to those numbers. You don't get to those numbers, and then just something pops up. Like, you're not going 12
and honestly,
years.
you know what? The Giants, unfortunately for them, they don't have a Steve Cohen, and if you do find something wrong with the medicals of a $330 million investment or whatever they gave him, those guys do unfortunately have to pull the plug on that because that's too much of a risk. And it's just not for Steve Cohen. I genuinely don't think there's anything wrong with him other than his regular, like, he's kind of an injury prone player. I think that's still the case. I don't think there's anything disastrous about
How
it.
happy do you think Correa is? I mean, the fact that you can get this happen, and then you just like turn around, like, it wasn't even 24 hours. That's why I was telling you guys in the text. I was like, anytime you see corporate give that one line, like, hey, this has been,
shit's up.
you know shit's up because they're scrambling to think of messaging. This deal's been done. Cohen's had him for like 48 hours. Probably.
It's Succession.
I've been calling people just because I want them to see like 9 missed calls from me. I called every Met fan, like in my phone, just because I want them to wake up and be like, "What happened?" You know, you have like, "What did I
Merry
miss?"
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, motherfucker! It's here. So anyway, I'll let you guys go. I feel like dog shit, but I feel like great at the same time. I'm gonna take a test now. I'm probably negative now. I got all
Steve Cohen's healing people.
All the good juju. I'm gonna see my family and everything. Thanks to Uncle Stevie. Take it easy, guys.
Oh, get better, Nikki.
Oh, look at that! I didn't realize that in the chat. Today is Aaron Judge's press conference day.
Ooh, I wouldn't be shocked if Stevie was like, "Let's go fuck with them here," you know?
Yeah. Let's do one today. That's like Taylor Swift putting out albums on Kanye's birthday and shit like that. What's up, baby? What do we got?
How we doing, Rory?
Hey there. Here's a question for you guys. Who do you think is the most hated owner? Not in baseball, because I'm pretty sure that's Cohen right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Does he beat out like the Dan Snyders of the league of the world?
It's a different sort of hate because it's like Dan Snyder's like a bad dude and a bad owner, and like he's like literally a bad person committing crimes while also continuing to torpedo his team. Jerry Jones is like you know he wants it, but he's this old man who's meddling in the business and fucking it up. Steve Cohen is hated. Those guys are hated, but also by their own fan base at times. Steve Cohen's hated by the outside
Snyder all the time, basically,
and loved by the inside, and that's what you want. You want the players. Like, I love the fact that Nimmo drives people crazy when he sprints to first base on a walk. I love the fact that people are saying that Lindor's overpaid and they hate on Pete, and it's like because they're our guys and we love them, and you hate them. So Cohen is probably the most hated by outsiders while being loved by the insiders, and that is the sweet spot.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. Nailed it exactly. I just thought of one negative maybe negative or not. I think this could be the thing that when the next CBA opens, like Clem was talking about, I think they just go straight up hard cap because I don't know other way to do it.
No. This is it. Enjoy it while you can, fellas. This is the end of baseball. No cap.
I think you said it earlier. It's like he knows this is his window. He can get in. It's like Kraft got into, I don't know, I can't find this article, but Kraft got into the Patriots because he said, I know with a cap, I can find guys who are, undervalued. I can make a team that way. And I think Steve's doing the opposite. He's like, I know, I have funny money. I have fuck you money. I could actually
100%, man. That's exactly it. He knows that this is his window. He blew through the Cohen tax. He knows that. Like, I think MLB thought that he was like the Cohen tax was a good enough deterrent, and they were like, this will like slow him down. And I think they're gonna realize that like, nope, this wasn't even fucking close. We need a way harder cap.
He's like turned into like the Saudi princess that brought all that's him exactly now.
That is really it, dude. It's true fuck you money. Enjoy every second of it while it lasts, because I don't know how long it will, bro.
Cherish it, Rory. Cherish it, baby. I'm looking up this. I'm trying to figure out the CBA here.
When did they talk? When's the next time?
So it says here they had
Next
like the
year?
minimums and stuff. It said 2026, so it goes at least till then.
Oh, I thought it was like 24.
5
wow.
years. Yeah. So
I thought we only had like 1 or 2 years left. If we've got like 3 or 4 years,
I thought it was like 8 to 10 years. But the good thing about it is we kind of like, it's like, oh, we lose Verlander and Max off the books, and you kind of shuffle some things around. And
it's all flexible.
We won't be like, there's going to be other, like, we won't be just capped out and fucked in 2027.
No, it's like
That's when the Dodger machine starts rolling here, and we start doing Dodger shit.
That's what he's doing now, is spending to allow the rest of the team to do what they need to do in order to become a fulfilling machine. So his short-term spending now is like, well, go spend the money internationally, stockpile the draft picks, get the prospects so that we can become this homegrown, built by the farm, good every year type of team. And in the short term, I'll spend my fucking ass off. And then, to be honest, he's going to combine the two. when we are just good through the farm and we do have the good players homegrown and he still goes and does things like Verlander and Correa, it's like you're just like we hit the $1 billion Powerball. It's not like winning the lottery. It's like winning the $1 billion Powerball. It's like we found the genie's lamp. It's like we it's magic what happened to us. It's sports gods evening things out for how much we suffered the rest of our lives as baseball fans are going to be great. And even if they put a cap in, he'll be the one who figures out a way, around it or brings guys in like Tom Brady used to do in football. I'll take less money to spend it around. And he'll be, even if there's a cap, he'll be one of the best owners with the cap. So either way, we've got it made. But as long as there's no cap, they can't stop him. The hen house is locked and it is on fire. It is burning to the ground. There are chickens just like, and he's just murdering everybody.
They're gonna open up that fucking door in 2027, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's one giant chicken." It's like, no, those are the feathers of all the chickens he ate, just stuck to his skin, and it's the fucking fox, fat as shit.
You know what it is? It's it's gonna be the horse-sized duck from the internet, the hypothetical internet debate. We're gonna be the horse-sized duck out there, just. Bro,
we got one.
I mean, to upgrade like this and not touch any of your assets it's fucking nuts. Let's go one more call.
All right, we got Chris. Chris is our closer here. If he's in, I don't see anything. Chris, you here
You
with
in
us?
the dark, Chris?
I'm here.
All right, Chrissy boy, it's good.
Can you hear me? My cam's not on.
You're
I
all
don't know
good.
what the fuck's going on. I'm too fucking jacked up right now.
Yes,
I don't know what's
Chrissy.
going on. Let me tell you something. All these fucking gabagool Yankee fans that are gonna be waking up to, my team spends money. My team spends money. You don't spend shit. You don't spend shit with Steve.
Broke boys.
I told my friends too. I go, you better hope he wins in the first couple of years. You better pray he wins.
Yeah.
Because this is what's gonna happen. And this is what happened.
He's not gonna stop.
This is not Epler either saying that, hey, we need another guy. This is him. This is him going, get me this guy.
Absolutely. This is Steve Cohen on a beach with a phone, and he just calls Epler every now and then and says, change my mind, go do it. And Epler's like, okay, whatever you say, boss. It's in the best interest of the league. I think Manfred's gonna flip and encourage Cohen because the faster he wins a World Series, the faster he might relent. And I don't think he will. I think he'll be like, now's the time that I want to go down in history and be a dynasty. But maybe if he gets one, he'll be like, all right, we can chill for now.
The Pittsburgh Pirates owner's on the phone with Manfred right now, saying this is egregious. We can't do this.
Yes.
Let me tell you though.
You know what Steve should do is just give those guys money and be like, listen, I'm sorry, but here's like a check for $50 million to just make you feel better.
They should line up like homeless people do in the city. Just line up like homeless people do in the city. Hey, it's 50 for you, 50 for you. Suck my dick. Here you go. By the way, every time
other owners are waking up, and Cashman and those guys are waking up, and they're going, "What the fuck are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to compete?"
Do you remember like 3 days ago when the offer came out? All the Met fans were like, that would have been cool. That would have been cool to have him. That would have been fun to have him. But everyone was like, that's not real. We can't have him.
That's exactly what I said.
It's not a real thing. When I saw that, I called my dad. My dad's like, you dying? I called my dad, like, are you dying? It's 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m. I'm like, we just fucking signed Correa. Are you kidding me? Every time I see a tweet that Mets signed somebody, it's like a blue chew for me. I am rock hard and ready to go. I'm sending out you up Texas to girls at 4 a.m. on a Wednesday, going, let's rock. Stevie just signed everybody.
Clem, it is 4:55 in the morning Eastern time. You and I have long said we are the most tortured souls as Mets fans, this generation of Mets fans. And you're the king of this generation because you're a couple years older than me. Mm-hmm. So you've been cognizant the longest of the worst era of Mets baseball. What are you feeling right now?
Yeah, because my first memory is '88, so it's literally it's the heartbreak of the Scotia game.
So I have it bad, but you have it worse. You are the king of this generation of Mets fans that is now, as we're not at the pinnacle because the pinnacle is a World Series, but as far as it's the next best thing to it right now. Can you put into words what it was like to be then to now?
It doesn't even feel real. It's not going to feel real until the season starts. It's just not going to feel real. And there's also the broken part of my brain that is just like, all right, how is this all going to fall apart? How is this going to, as you guys know, I'm like the positive Mets fan on the podcast, right? But now there's stakes. There's something to lose now, right? So it's like, and I'm sure Cohen feels it. I'm sure Billy Epler feels it now.
Oh my
God.
It's
like, all right, game fucking on. Let's go win. Buck, do whatever the fuck you have to do to not let the end of last season happen again this season. And we got to go out there.
Here's the thing. Right now, do you think the Mets win the 2023 World Series?
I mean, I have to. You got to believe it, right?
but because we are from that tortured generation, I'm like, I don't even know, or I don't think we do. But I'm okay with that. It's just the beginning, but it's hard to even if maybe we'll look back on it and it's laughable that we ever said they might not win because maybe they steamrolled their way. But also there's every chance that the Astros are still just as good, if not better. And baseball is just a stupid sport. But this is as close as it gets. Have we ever been in our lifetimes? Have we ever been the favorite to win the World Series, going into a season?
That's a good question. I'm thinking 2007 were they?
Maybe,
I'm thinking of it.
Maybe then, but
Yeah.
But so we've never had if you go get Ohtani, it's fucking come on. You have to win, right?
And that's the biggest thing for me. It's not just all right, I'm going to see Correa at third. I'm going to see Senga on the mound. I'm going to see this and that, Verlander. It's just as much as if by July we need something, they're going to go do something. They're going to make the trade. Yes. They're going to swallow the money, pay the money, whatever it has to be.
I don't even think we need something. I just think if he wants something. If we need something, definitely. If he wants something, probably.
Exactly. I mean, I'll tell you, boys, I'll make a plea for it. I don't think 96ers is going to get it done this year. I think we're going to have to raise them. I think it's the Century Club is going to have to be.
Century Club. I love it. Let's go Century Club.
According to the Barstool Sportsbook, our beloved Barstool Sportsbook I love so much, the Mets are the 5th highest World Series right now. So put your money down right now while they're sleeping. They're sleeping right now. And sleeping. Plus 1,000 on the Barstool Sportsbook right now.
Put your futures in right now before Mr. Penn wakes up and says, "Oh shit, we got to change these odds." Who is ahead of them? Astros, Dodgers, Phillies.
Dodgers are 1 plus 575. Astros are plus 600. Yankees are plus 750. Braves are plus 900. Mets are plus 1,000. So get in on your fucking Mets plus 1,000 right now in the World Series. This is your Clem tip of the fucking morning at 5 a.m. on Wednesday, December 21st. Get it in while they're sleeping right now.
For real, dude.
It's crazy, man. And so, they're not the favorites. And you can't tell, as much as I love Carlos Correa, I can't imagine he's going to bump them up 500 in the sports books to become the favorites to win the World Series. So, we deserve it, man. I've said it a million times. I've said it ever since Cohen bought the team, though. There's not a fan base that deserves this more than us. We've seen it through. We've talked about it with everyone on the pod, and then everyone we talk to in real life. The shit we've had to go through, being the poor team when you live across the street from the Yankees and seeing all the shit they had. Every other team in the fucking NL East has won a World Series since the Mets have won a World Series. There's no fucking fan base that deserves this more. So talk your shit. Fucking dream your dreams, your World Series. Get your fucking tickets. We'll get our Barstool the ballparks together at some point. It's fucking there, man. It's fucking there.
One word, one man, one name.
Steve.
You gotta believe.
Gotta believe.